All right, boys and girls, we have some juicy Star Wars news to talk about. Now, we know that Benioff and Weiss were hired back in 2018 to helm a Star Wars trilogy outside of the Skywalker saga. That's not going to happen. We already know that. The news came down a couple of days ago on that. It was officially on record said that they were leaving because they didn't have enough time between Lucasfilm and Netflix. Now we're starting to get to the bottom of it. We're starting to get to the truth of the situation. Now, new information has come out, and apparently Benioff and Weiss, they didn't step away because of time. These guys were actually fired by Lucasfilm back in May. Now, to me, this shouldn't be a surprise that they got fired because with Lucasfilm's track record with filmmakers and directors and everything, you can kind of expect this. Pretty much the only movie that they didn't have any trouble on was The Last Jedi. That was it. And we saw how that turned out. Now, here's the thing. The backstory to this is they were hired in 2018, and then Game of Thrones Season 8 came out, and it was an utter disaster. It was one of the worst endings I had ever seen before. And apparently Lucasfilm, they hit the panic button. They didn't want another Last Jedi situation coming around once again. So they told Benioff and Weiss, we're going to do a light firing all the way back in May. And they allowed Benioff and Weiss to shop their talents around. And of course, we know they landed that Netflix deal, which was in excess of $250 million. Now, officially, they walked away because they couldn't balance both at the same time. But they didn't want to embarrass these guys. So they walked away, even though they were fired. Wow. This is quite a bit to digest here. So what does this mean for Rian Johnson? What this means for Rian Johnson is, I think officially Rian Johnson knew a long time ago he was never getting this trilogy. And with this Benioff and Weiss news coming out now, this is not looking good for Rian Johnson whatsoever. He absolutely knows his trilogy is never happening at all. Now, the only person that's mentioned anything about his trilogy is Kathleen Kennedy. Apparently, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't have any power anymore at Lucasfilm because Kevin Feige, we know he's coming over to make a Star Wars movie. Maybe he was going to make this new trilogy that's supposed to come out. Don't know. But guess what? He's not answering to Kathleen Kennedy. He's not reporting to Kathleen Kennedy. He's reporting directly to Bob Iger. So that lets you know what Bob Iger thinks of Kathleen Kennedy. He doesn't think much of her at all. He doesn't approve of her decision-making whatsoever. Now, Benioff and Weiss, they've been shown the door pretty much like just about everybody else she's hired. Now, this is going to get very interesting. The future of the Star Wars movies in the theater is in very much jeopardy. We don't know what's going to happen. Now, it is 2022. I'm pretty sure they'll get something out. But I said it before, the future of Lucasfilm and Star Wars is on Disney+. Lucasfilm is a complete mess. With this track record, with what they have with directors and filmmakers, why would anybody want to go over there and make a movie? Because the chances are you're not going to be around very long. Not with Kathleen Kennedy over there. So I think she's really been pushed to the side now. Her decision-making has really cost the company a lot of profits. Profits are decreasing towards on selling. Bob Iger has all but officially fired her, if you ask me. Because why would Kevin Feige need to come over there and save Star Wars? Benioff and Weiss, good luck with Netflix. Rian Johnson, you are definitely not getting your trilogy. No way in hell is it going to happen. No way. Because Rian Johnson was announced by Kathleen Kennedy back in 2017 before Benioff and Weiss. Benioff and Weiss was announced in 2018. Nothing has happened with Rian Johnson. Nothing is going to happen with Benioff and Weiss now. Now, there may be some people out there, some shills that are saying, oh, this means that Rian Johnson is going to get his trilogy now. No way in the world is that going to happen. They let these guys go because they saw how bad Game of Thrones Season 8 was. And these guys are supposed to be the creative minds. So there's no way in the world Rian Johnson is going to get anything from Lucasfilm now. They let these guys go, and they have a far superior track record than Rian Johnson. It's not even close. It's not even a debate. These guys were let go, and they had one of the greatest TV shows of all time until Season 8 pretty much ruined their reputation. Lucasfilm did not want another Last Jedi situation on their hands, so they let these guys go way back in May. I can believe this. I mean, if I took one look at Game of Thrones Season 8, I'll be thinking the same thing. Just like when I would look at the response and the fallout from The Last Jedi, there's no way in the world I'm getting Rian Johnson a trilogy. Nowhere in the world. The fan base is already fractured enough. We don't need to have any more damage. The image of Star Wars is so bad right now. This actually may have been a good move to let those guys go. It may have been a very, very good move because in this case, the fandom menace won. People that were outspoken about The Last Jedi, people that were outspoken about Game of Thrones Season 8 and how bad it was, we won. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. If you're new here to the channel, please hit subscribe to catch future videos from me, and we will catch you on the next video. John Matrixx, out.